Good evening, everyone. My name is Kim Tucker with Mid-America Association of Real Estate Investors, and I am very anxious to hear what Mike has to say tonight. Mike Butler has been investing for many years. He comes to us by way of the police department. He was investing while he was working for his local police department, and he has developed a few systems. One of them came out in a book called Landlording on Autopilot, which sounds like something I would like to really learn how to do as landlord on autopilot. I tried before and I wasn't autopiloting, so I really want to learn that. It made the #1 bestseller on Amazon's business books, and it's in bookstores everywhere. And he's also been featured in Money Magazine, one of the world's largest #1 magazines on business and finance. And he was featured in their article, Can Real Estate Make You Rich? So Mike Butler, I would like to welcome you. Are you here there, Mike?
Yes, I am here.
I am really excited that you are able to come to Kansas City in September, because I've wanted to have you speak for the last 4 or 5 years, and I just haven't been able to get Mary's schedule and your schedule together. So I'm really excited to have you coming in September.
Well, thank you so much, Kim. I'm looking forward to being out there on September the 8th and getting to train everybody and show them all kinds of things they never thought of before that are proven and that work.
Well, so everybody knows, Mike will be here September 8th at our monthly meeting. He is going to be sharing with us 10 proven keys to consistently get paid over 100% of your rents every month. We have a lot of door prizes. One, for everybody that pre-registers, we are giving away a monthly meeting, not a monthly meeting. We're giving away 1 year free membership to one person. We'll draw for that. And we also have a $50 gift card. And I understand Mike is bringing a few door prizes as well. And if you've never been to a Mary meeting, we also have a guest pass here on the website, or if you just click the register now, you can register for a free guest. And what I'm really excited about is Mike is coming back on Saturday the 12th to teach us all day. And he's going to tell us a little bit more about that at the end. He's going to teach us how to fill our vacant units before the tenants move out. And then he's also going to share with us how to screen our tenants. And he was going to tell us more about that at the end of his presentation tonight. But to register for all of those, you are just going to go to mary.org, MAREI.org. And I am going to switch over now and switch the screen to you, Mike. And I am really anxious to find out why we should not call ourselves a landlord.
But anyway, here we go. Let's get ready to tee this puppy up and we'll get going. And here's what to expect. Give me about 30 minutes here. This is going to be short, to the point, just meat and potatoes that we're going to go through on why you should never, ever call yourself a landlord. Okay? And for starters, I want to nip this in the bud right now. How many times have you heard from other investors, or maybe even yourself, saying, no tenants, no toilets, I've been there, I've done that. You fix something, you buy a house, you fix it up, and they tear it up, you got to go in there and do it again. Have you heard that before? Have you heard that, Kim?
Yes, I have heard that. I've heard that many times. Okay. I've said that myself.
You said it yourself. Okay. Well, we're going to nip that in the bud right now, because watch this. I'm going to take that one thing right there where they said, I ain't going to do no more tenants, no more toilets. Here's, if you'd like to have a response that goes back and gives a little touche like that, ask them, who gave them the key?
Definitely. Bad screening on my part.
So you're not doing your homework on the front end. You're just trying to wing it, shooting from the hip and all that. And you know what? It's not going to work. You're going to have all that kind of problem. We're going to get into more of that in great detail. But let's nip that in the bud right now, because I want to fire this question at you and see what your answer is right now. Okay, here it is. I want you to listen closely. What would your life be like? Imagine what your life would be like if you had 20 nice rental houses paid for. Come on, what's your answer?
I did the numbers, and if I had that, I would probably be making $20,000 a month in rent.
Well, that's what your rent would be on an average $1,000 rent. But you know what? Most investors across America, I love them to death because here's what they say. When I ask them, how much money in your pocket monthly would make you a happy camper? You know what the number one answer is?
$5,000 or $10,000 probably.
$10,000. $10,000. They said if I had $10,000 a month in my pocket every month, I'd be a happy camper. That would allow me to do what I want to do in life and to pursue the passions that I want and all that. I was kind of shocked. I'm a little bit greedier than that, so I thought investors say 50,000, 100,000. You know, now $10,000 a month. Now remember those 20 houses I was telling you about, Kim? Let's watch this. So let's say we got our 20 rental houses here, okay, and they rent for $1,000 each. Okay, times 20. That equals $20,000, right, in rent?
Correct.
But you got, okay, watch this. So now, if you've got property taxes, let's allow $500 for these things here. Property tax, insurance, repairs, and management. Okay? You think that would cover it?
Probably.
On a paid-for house?
Per month, yes.
That means you get $500, okay, per house times 20 equals $10,000. Wow. And yeah, you're going to have some negative Nancy's out there that's going to say, but what if they don't pay rent? Well, okay, what about vacancies? Well, I'll tell you what, single-family houses in my program, I've got many of my houses that I bought, I've only got one tenant in them from day one. For not 3 or 4 years, for 20-plus years. Okay, my average tenant stays 6 to 7 years. So I don't factor in vacancy. And you know what? If you do your homework on the front end, guys, you do your homework on the front end, you're going to have tremendous better results. Okay, because you're going to have you got a proven system that you're going to use. This is not some go to Office Depot and get a rental application and wing it, and you know, it's just insane. Okay, if you want the 20 nice rental houses to generate consistently $10,000 a month to put in your pocket, okay, you got to have a system, and that's all it is. And you know what? Even the investors who have had bad tenants, who have tried landlording, who have tried rental property, and said never again. When I ask them this question, what would your life be like with 20 nice rental houses paid for? Guess what everybody says? I've not had one person say, no, I don't want it. Not one person say their life is worse. It's always better. It's awesome. And yeah, some are greedy and they want more, but it's still good, okay? So let's dig right into why you should never call yourself a landlord. Okay, so let me show you some benefits here, why you never call yourself a landlord. What it does basically is it's going to put, and think about this, okay? I'm going to draw I like drawing a little bit, but remember the old picket fences, White House, picket fence, all this and that, okay? Well, over here, when you wear a hat, we got different hats that we wear. So let's do one, and one hat here will be the owner, okay? One hat here can be, you know, landlord. Oops. And if you identify yourself as the landlord or the owner, when you're dealing with tenants, attorneys, inspectors, neighbors, goes on and on and on, okay? Where's the buck stop? Where's the buck stop?
With the owner and the landlord.
Yeah. Okay, so if you identify yourself as the owner or you identify yourself as a landlord and you bump into Sally tenant and they want to waive a late fee, they're asking this or asking that, or they want new carpet, or, you know, grandma number 27 got hit by a train, every one of us as investors, okay, Kim included, and everybody on the call right now, we all are good people. We have huge hearts. And when I got started, me being the police officer, okay, and I'm supposed to be strong and have the badge and all this and that, okay, we even have big hearts. And when somebody puts a moral sympathy story on you, we break down. Isn't that real easy to do? How many times have you done that?
You give in.
Yeah, you give in. And then they try to use it again on you next month and next month and next month. And they just keep repeating it. And here's what the sad reality is, guys. Once you do it one time, you know what you have in fact done? Is that you are training your tenants that it's okay. Think about it. If last month you agreed to let a late charge go, what did you just drill into the tenant's mind? Hey, I don't have to pay late charges. Did it that time, why can't I do it again? Okay? If you let them pay late, hey, it worked last time, why can't I do it again? Can you see that pattern brewing?
Yes, very much.
Okay? So now, if you never call yourself, never ever call yourself landlord, never ever call yourself the owner. What I want you to replace it with, and you're going to get a heavy helping of this, is I want you to use the word property manager. Okay? And here's how we can go even one better. You're not even the property manager, but you work for the property manager. Can you see that? Can you see how that would put a fence, board of protection, invisible fence, so to speak, between you and the tenant and the attorneys and the neighbors and the inspectors and anybody else coming down and around? So what kind of authority do you have if you work for the property manager?
You don't have any authority. You're just doing your job.
You don't have any authority, right? So when dealing with an inspector, doesn't that inspector, if he writes up that property and this and that, and you're there and you work for the property manager, isn't he jeopardizing your job?
Right.
Yeah, okay. Can you waive a late fee?
No.
On the phone or anything like that? No, I don't have the authority to. Guess who I have to check with? I got to check with the property manager or the owner.
Right.
Okay? Now, if you wear all of these hats yourself, and that's okay. That's okay. I tell you what, once I started identifying myself as I work for the property manager, okay, I could then not be put Johnny on the spot to come up with a knee-jerk reaction or answer that I would regret later. So I would say this, you know what, Sally, I don't have the authority to do that, but let me check with my property manager and let them maybe check with the owner, and we'll see what we can do. And this can be on anything from late charges to wanting to get a new window or new carpet or cabinets or whatever, okay? Mm-hmm. The list just goes on and on and on, okay? So then tomorrow morning, watch this, you can have a meeting with yourself and the owner and the property manager in the shower, and you can come up with like plan A, plan B, plan C solutions or answers that might be, I'll bet, 10 times better than what your knee-jerk answer would have been. How about that, Kim?
That would be excellent.
Okay, so let me give you a real true life story that happened to me using this analogy right here, okay? I had a house on Date Street, okay, on Section 8. And Danny, my guy in the field that attends all these and meets the inspectors there and this and that, he had something going on with his kid or take him to the doctor. So I jumped up and took care of handling that appointment, that move-in inspection, initial inspection by Section 8. And this little inspector that showed up for the Section 8 office, he's just one of these mean, got to find everything that he can, blah, 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 blah. So I show up wearing my bib overalls. Now, back then, okay, I had a big, long beard, had long hair, and I drove a black pickup truck, okay, and had a toolbox behind the cab. That was my police truck, actually. And so I meet this fellow down there, and actually we both kind of pull up at the same time together. So I'm piddling around and he hollered, "You here for the Section 8 inspection?" And, "Yeah, I'm here." And so I let him in. Well, he goes around and does his thing with his clipboard, and I'm fumbling around in the toolbox, the back of my truck, acting like I'm trying to get something. And he comes up, and he has all his little clipboard and his little badge on, and he's so powerful and all this and that. And he says, "Well, sorry, had to flunk it." And I said, "No!" I just screamed at him, no, why are you failing it? He says, well, there's no smoke alarm in the basement. Oh, dang God, that's what they sent me down here for to do it. I couldn't find it in my toolbox. I forgot. I'm going to get filed. They're going to file me. I'm going to lose my job. Guess what this little idiot did? He put his arm now. His head doesn't come up to my shoulders. He put his arm around me on my shoulder and said, stop. No, it's okay, big guy. I'll help you out. So you got the smoke alarm with you now? I said, yeah, it's in the toolbox. And then I said it like, yeah, it's in the toolbox right there somewhere. And so I dig it out, get the screwdriver, get a couple screws. He gets the ladder off his truck, the step ladder, carries it all downstairs in the basement, and he installs a smoke alarm for me and passes it.
Excellent.
True story. So can you see that is just one example of a huge benefit that I received by not identifying myself as the proud owner or the big bad landlord, okay? When I got my first rental house, I was excited to be called a landlord. I thought I had achieved something awesome. But, whoa, that's not good, okay? Identify yourself as a property manager. You work for them. But then somebody's going to say this, but Mike, all of my tenants already know me as the owner. They already know me as the landlord. No problem, okay? What you can do, and this is pretty simple, okay, you can simply say that you have hired, okay, a property management company to manage the properties for you, and you're just going to hang on and just help them out to make sure everything goes smoothly during the transition, okay? So now you work for the property manager. They say, but you're the owner, no. I hired a property management company, and I signed off all of that to them. So you got to check with them. Now, is that a perfect way? No, but that's a simple solution on how you can transition that over, okay? So what do you think about that, Kim?
It's worth a shot. I think it would work because you sign an agreement with a property manager that they're in charge of everything, and you've agreed to let them run the show. So I would think.
Well, I'm not even saying go that far.
Well, yes, but that's what the tenant thinks, though.
Oh, yeah, that's what the tenant thinks. Now, you don't tell them all that. You don't tell them you sign an agreement, all this and that. You just tell them I hired a property management company, and, here's their phone number, this and that. I work for them, or I'm helping them out, but they make all the decisions now. So the property manager, and then when they call the property manager, then it's right back to the simple cycle again. Okay, so the property manager got to check with the owner, and so that's okay. But either way, it prevents you from making a knee-jerk answer that you would regret. Now, when it comes with attorneys, imagine an attorney calling you. You the owner? That depends. Yeah, I'm the owner. Are you the landlord? Yeah, I'm the landlord. Okay, well, I'm calling for tenant so-and-so over blah, 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 blah. Okay. Calling yourself a property manager, you work for the property manager, helps you out so much. Dealing with neighbors, the neighbors complaining about a tenant or this and that, the tenant's contacting you. There's just so many benefits. I cannot find, okay, unless you come up with one here and raise your hand and tell me and Kim about it, I can't find one reason not to identify yourself as the property manager or working for the property manager. Just so many benefits with that. So that's the biggie on why you never call yourself a landlord. And getting back to having those 20 nice rental houses paid for, that's a home run. That's what I do. I want to tell you about Saturday. Mark your calendar right now. That's just one little tidbit right there, guys, okay, of a bunch more coming your way. Now, September the 8th, is that on a Tuesday, Kim?
That's Tuesday night.
Okay. I want you to get your reservations in, mark your calendar. I want you to be there because this is where we're going to do the 10 proven keys to consistently get paid over 100% of your rents every month. That's not a false statement, guys. Really, truly get that. In fact, I'll let you know that the national average for most investors with rental property is 85% of their rents. That's horrible. That's horrendous. You you can't do that. Let's get over 100% of it. And there are simple, easy ways to do that, and they're proven. Now, on Saturday, this is going to be different, okay? On Saturday, I'm going to have 2 sessions. We're going to have one in the morning and one after lunch, okay? The first session is going to be how to fill your vacant unit yesterday, okay? In my business, 9 out of 10 times when we have a tenant turnover, 9 out of 10 times, we've got a pre-approved applicant ready to go, foaming at the mouth for the tenant that's there to move out so that they can move in. In fact, it's about the closest thing to a perfect tenant turnover that you can get, where you could literally just hand the key to the one moving in, the one moving out hands the key to the one moving in. Now, we don't do that literally because of liability purposes and things like that. But for the most part, it's real close that. We change the locks, we give them new keys, and the place, the tenant moving out gives it back to us in as good a condition or better, and you're going to see that on Tuesday night. And it really, truly works, okay? Now, let me give you a tip on the life cycle of a tenant. What's the life cycle of a tenant, Kim, from A to Z? Would you think it would begin with the application?
Start with application and through move out.
Okay, you're only getting the middle of it there. There's a lot that happens. Let's see if I go this way. No, I'm looking backward on me. But anyway, you're looking at maybe H to M, okay? And what I want to show you is the life cycle of a tenant, okay? It's from A to Z. And I'm going to show you what A is when it starts, and I'm going to show you when Z is when it ends. And it's a lot more than everyone expects. And so much of this stuff is so important when you begin. Now, the next one I'm going to share with you, remember I'm going to show you how you can fill your vacant unit yesterday, free resources for marketing, how to do yard signs, business cards. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg on all kinds of expensive advertising and ads everywhere. It's simple, okay? Now, that second session is going to be how to screen tenants in 15 minutes or less. And here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I need a few volunteers, okay? We can't have everybody in the class doing it, but I'm going to take the first 3, okay? The first 3 to bring in a recently submitted rental application, one of yours, okay? And if you want to put it in a copier and then scribble out their name and their social, that's fine, okay? For privacy, that I would encourage you to do so, okay? But scribble out their name, scribble out their social, and I want you to bring one of your recently submitted rental applications, and we're going to use it as a class project. And I'm going to show you that in any town USA, you can use my 6-point scoring matrix system to process any rental application in 15 minutes or less. In 15 minutes or less. Now, a couple of tips here. One, we never disqualify any rental application. Hold that thought. Okay. The other one is about 85% of them, we never run a credit report. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that on September the 12th. You ready for those, Kim?
Yes.
So they're hands-on, roll up your sleeve. That's a Saturday workshop. Absolutely. Yeah, so let's see if we can't take a look at the attendees over there and see if anybody has any questions for Mike.
Is your book on Kindle?
Yes, it is, okay? It's looks like this. You can find it in any bookstore, anywhere. Landlording on Autopilot. It's the #1 bestseller business book on Amazon, and it's still selling like gangbusters today. And that's all because of the market, people who are having a hard time selling their properties and turning them into rental properties. But
Well,
yes, Bill?
I want a Kindle version so I can read it on my iPhone.
All right, good one, Bill. Who else has one?
We had a question online today, actually. They were dealing with licensing inspectors, not Section 8 inspectors, but one of our cities in Kansas City, Kansas, you have to register and you get a license, and they want to come inspect the house. And he was trying to deal with an inspector that had given him a list of things that all needed to be fixed, and then when he came in to re-inspect, gave him a whole nother list and still isn't passing him. So how would you deal with somebody like that?
I've experienced that myself, and unfortunately, that's government, okay? So how can you make common sense out of government? And what I found is use your best people skills. And what has happened in my hometown, a similar situation, but they come back with a different inspector who looks up more stuff and finds stuff that the first one didn't find. And that can be so daggone aggravating. And in fact, tomorrow morning, Kim, myself, and a couple of my good friends in leadership on our local RIA going to our local government to address issues with inspections and licenses and permits over that same kind of stuff happening. And it's not fair, okay? And here's why I say it's not fair, and this is where I think that if we present ourselves in a warm, friendly way, okay, and don't talk about how much it ticks us off, don't talk about how much money it cost us, okay, but look what they're doing to your residents. Here's your resident making plans and schedule arrangements to move, getting a rental truck, taking time off from work, rounding up some help, getting boxes, changing utilities, kids in school and all this and that, and you've got some badge-heavy inspector coming in there without any common sense and just destroying all that for them. It's a nightmare. And so we'd like to have some cooperation and some common sense with the inspectors. Most of our investors who have rental property do a great job. Yes, we will admit there are a few slumlords out there, and we want those guys spanked hard, okay? But don't do it to everybody, okay, because everybody's not worthy of that, okay? So I don't know. How's that, Kim?
That would be working with us as a group, going at a whole, talking to the inspector, but even individually, I think that would work. That was mine, was be level-headed and polite, not go off, because other people were advising to start yelling and screaming. I'm like, that's not going to get anybody anywhere.
Oh, no, even if you got the meanest hardcore inspector, okay, if you just throw up about all your troubles and worries and frustrations and headaches that they're causing you, that makes them happy, those kind of inspectors. But when you say, look, I got a single mom with 2 kids or whatever, make up some sad sob story about how they're ruining their day, causing them all kinds of grief and headache and job problems and everything else, I think they might say, well, tell you what, you know, maybe we can I'm not going to say let anything go, okay? But if you can promise to get these things done by next Tuesday, I'll come back and then we'll pass it then. I don't know. It depends on how your local ordinance is written and what you can do. But if you show that you're trying to help people, and they're causing it and they're preventing that from happening and causing regular old people, blue collar folks, grief, I think that's a big plus in your department there.
Okay. We'll get